that fail also risk losing customers to their competitors. The ultimate goal in our customer experience efforts is for us to deliver a seamless and compelling experience across all touch points of an organization. So how you tailor the customer experience strategy really depends on the line of business that an organization is in. For example, in financial services, in the financial services sector, where I am currently placed right now, we are mainly focused on digital and automated experiences, although we can't ignore the human touch, because we want to humanize the experiences that we deliver to our customers. That's financial services. On the other hand, when you look at a line of business like perhaps hospitality, their focus is more on the people, training and development, equipping their employees with knowledge and expertise to be able to deliver professional, empathetic, and great experiences to their customers. Also, they might focus on the facilities, their rooms, their conference rooms, etc. So how you craft your customer experience strategy as an organization really depends on the line of business, although the definition of customer experience does not change. It's really about making sure that the interactions that your customers have with your organizations are top-notch. You want to deliver beyond the expectations of your customers each time that they have an encounter with you. Having said that, I will touch a bit about how to actually deliver a great customer experience. Now, to move at the speed that our customers require, to move at the speed of our customers, we need to listen and act on our customers' feedback. We need to listen to the voice of the customer. It's not surprising that customer insights have become more important since COVID-19. So as marketers, we need to invest in tools that enable us to collect, analyze, and leverage feedback to make critical decisions on enhancing our customer experiences with confidence. A great customer experience strategy starts with the voice of the customer. It has to be informed by the expectations and needs of the customers. Equally important is defining the customer journey. We have to identify the organization's critical touch points, map the steps, identify the pain points that our customers are currently experiencing, and develop solutions proactively, such as, I'll keep referring to examples in my line of business, such as simplifying perhaps the claims process. I'm in the insurance industry. So one of the major pain points that customers face in this industry is difficult processes that are not as easy to follow through. So one of the solutions that we as insurers need to come up with is simplifying the underwriting and claims processes, or providing additional support to our customers such that they are able to go through the customer journey in a very delightful and simple way as possible. All industries have experienced, and I'm sure you will agree with me, that there's been an accelerated adoption of technology across all generations, particularly through the COVID-19 pandemic. So technology can be a powerful tool to improve customer experiences. There's specific technology for each line of business. We have InsurTech with regards to insurance, and that provides a number of options, such as mobile applications. We've got our chatbots, digital service applications to improve customer satisfaction. Perhaps round-the-clock service, streamlining processes, etc. So technology has played a pivotal role in enhancing customer satisfaction in all industries across the world. Lastly, personalization is a key aspect in many industries. Tailored products and interactions are gaining great significance as businesses seek to differentiate themselves from their competitors. So leveraging data and analytics, organizations can customize products and recommendations to their customers and audiences. As I move on, like the well-known management consultant, Peter Drucker said, if you can't measure it, then you certainly can't change it. By measuring customer success, we are determining the extent to which we have achieved positive outcomes through our various initiatives that we've set out to do as marketers. To what extent have we met or exceeded our customer expectations? So when developing the customer experience strategy, we need to make sure that we are clear about the goals that we want to achieve, and the initiative, the matrices that we'll use to measure how far we've gone in achieving the goals that we set out to do from the beginning. In terms of the importance of measuring customer experience, it helps us to identify areas of improvement through using the various matrices that my colleagues are going to talk about in a few moments. So this information will inform future initiatives focused on enhancement and improvements. Like I said before, if you don't measure your success or how far you've gone, it simply means that you will not be able to identify what you need to work on as an organization moving forward. There's no way that you can work on improvements if you haven't measured and identified what it is that you need to do in the future. Equally important is tracking your matrices from one period to another, so that you're able to gauge how far you've gone in achieving your ultimate goals. The measurements are also useful in benchmarking yourselves against competitors, particularly your major competitors. We don't, as organizations, we don't operate in isolation. So how your competitors are performing is very useful information to be able to help you to make adjustments or identify areas where you will have to draw insights from. Again, positive performance on CX has a profound impact on employees. I feel through fostering a sense of ownership and encouraging collaborations cross-functional collaboration within your organization, and it ultimately impacts on customer satisfaction and loyalty and advocacy amongst our employees. So I hope I've set the tone for the future panelists who are going to come in and get deeper into the specific matrices that will be used to measure CX success. Back to you, Doreen. Thank you very much to the audiences.
Thank you so much, Trish. Indeed, you've set the stage for us, and we now have that good overview of what customer experience is and why the progressive businesses and the savvy marketers need to be paying attention to that. My key takeaway was that any customer CX strategy, if it's to be successful, has to move at the pace of the customer. And I think that's particularly important now in the era of now and in the age of the customer. So our next speaker is Madame Sharon Tapesa, who is a senior contact center and customer experience expert with over 15 years of experience in the financial sector. She's currently the manager of NetBank Zimbabwe Contact Center. Sharon, now that we have an appreciation of the value of managing the customer experience effectively, please take us through the best practices and the metrics for measuring it.
Thank you very much, Doreen. I'm going to share my presentation shortly. And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you once again for joining.
Sharon, we've lost sound. Okay, as we wait for Sharon to log back in, one of the things that I enjoyed particularly when Trish was talking up was to hear how they have kind of incorporated the aspects of technology within the financial services sector in terms of curating their customer experiences.
Hi, Doreen.
Hi, Sharon, are you back?
Yes, I am. Apologies for that.
For a moment. That's fine.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Back to
All right. Okay. So I was saying today I'm going to be sharing on best practices and key metrics for measuring the customer experience success. Before I dwell into that, I think it should be known that CX strategies can never be a one-size-fits-all, and each organization will need to determine what works for them, given that there are a number of metrics that can be used to measure success, and also best practices that are appealing and may seem like an all-rounder for every organization, but really it differs from organization to organization. So as I begin my presentation, I just wanted to say now businesses face a critical challenge as well on how to deliver exceptional customer experience that foster loyalty and drive growth, and to set them from an ever-increasing landscape. So the first step that obviously organizations need to look into when coming up with best practices for measuring CX success is to establish clear objectives. By this, each organization needs to define what they want to achieve by measuring customer experience, whether it's understanding their customer satisfaction or identifying pain points or evaluating their customer loyalty. Having these clear objectives will definitely guide them and also ensure they use the correct metrics for them to measure their efforts. It's also important for organizations to align objectives with the overall business goals and also their customer expectations. And this will definitely ensure a focused approach towards measuring and improving the customer experience. The next step, as mentioned by the previous speaker, there's also a need to develop a comprehensive customer journey map. From my presentation, I think you can see I've indicated omni-channel touch points. These include your social media, your emails, even your...
Hello, Sharon. Sorry,
Hello?
sorry to interrupt. We're not seeing the screen.
Okay, let me just try again.
Okay. Yes, we can say it now. If you can just move to slideshow and we can take it from the top. Wonderful. We're good to go.
Okay. Oh, awesome. So I was on the developing a comprehensive customer journey map, and I was touching on the omni-channel touch points where organizations should ensure that each and every of their customers have access to at least one of their touch points, whether this is in person or it's via digital, via social media, etc. So developing a comprehensive customer journey helps organizations understand interactions across the various touch points by identifying the pain points, moments of truth, and opportunities for improvement. And a well-defined customer journey map will also help measure customer experience effectiveness at each and every stage. The next point would be to implement the right technology. CRM systems are talk nowadays where organizations are integrating their core systems with proven CRMs, which also help them have an overview or 360-degree of their customers, and leveraging appropriate tools and technologies to gather customer feedback, analyze the data, and track the CS metrics. These tools are invaluable for measuring customer success. And it's also important to make use of a mix of quantitative and qualitative data. Quantitative, such as surveys and analytics. Surveys nowadays, they are free surveys that organizations can actually use. Google Forms has that, or you can actually have paid surveys through third parties who are willing to come in and just assess your customer database, and also your customers will have an opportunity to rate your services through interviews. And qualitative data can be obtained through methods like customer interviews and focus groups. And this can offer a deeper understanding of customer perceptions and emotions, giving a comprehensive view of where you are in terms of customer experience. It's also very important to be collecting this feedback on a regular basis to gather insights on an ongoing basis, because this allows you to track changes over time and also identify emerging trends. And like our previous speaker, Patricia, said, you also benchmark yourself against competition and try to nip it in the bud before you lose focus of where you want to go with your strategic CX. Organizations should also consider multiple touch points because customer experience is influenced by various touch points throughout the customer journey. And like I said, it's important to be measuring the CX at different stages and across different channels to capture an overview of what the clients are experiencing at all your touch points. And like I said, this also includes your interactions in-store, in-branch, online, social media, and through customer support channels. It's also important for organizations to promote a customer-centric culture. And a customer-centric culture just doesn't begin with the customers, it begins with the employees as well. We need to really define the employee experience, because our employees are at the forefront of serving our customers. And if our employees are not happy, then they will not definitely deliver a good experience for our customer. So it's important to foster a culture that values customer centricity, encouraging our employees to prioritize customer satisfaction and empower them to deliver exceptional experiences. We should also be celebrating our customer success stories with the employees so that they feel valued. And when they feel valued, they also offer exceptional experiences for our customer. And insights gained from the surveys or whichever tools we would have used to measure the customer success help us gain a perspective on the performance and what we can do better to improve, and where it also identifies the areas where we are excelling. The next point would be to streamline processes. This cannot be overemphasized. Patricia mentioned this. Longer processes tend to also frustrate customers. And sometimes you tend to see that customers will stop midway their sale because the process has been too long, and maybe a lot of documentation is being required, and they get tired and then they just leave midway and they go to competition who are offering a shorter conversion rate. The last aspect that I'm going to touch on best practices would be to select appropriate metrics that go with your organization. As I mentioned, organizations are not a one size fits all. However, they are common metrics that can be used to measure the customer success of the organizations. And it's important also for organizations to choose metrics that align with objective and provide meaningful insights. Common metrics that are used include the Net Promoter Score. I'm going to touch this more on my next presentation. The Customer Satisfaction Score, CSAT, Customer Effort Score, and retention rates. Organizations should also consider using a combination of metrics to better understand different aspects of the organization's performance on customer experience. Continuously monitor these metrics and improve as customer experience measurement is an ongoing basis. Continuous assessment enables businesses to adapt and to respond to the ever-changing needs of our customers. To conclude on best practices for measuring customer experience, organizations should just really act on insights. Remember, we say this is an ongoing process and it requires commitment to continuously improve. And by adopting these best practices, you tend to gain a lot of valuable insights to help optimize your customer experience strategy. It's not just about collecting the data, it's about using the insights gathered to drive improvements. Customer experience is dynamic and it evolves over time. Something that's relevant today will probably not even make sense in the next 6 months, because now our era is driven by AI. So there are a lot of changes on a daily basis and it's so dynamic. So analyze your feedback regularly, identify trends and take action to address issues to further enhance our positive experiences. And then I'm going to move to key metrics that can be used to measure customer success. I touched a bit on those metrics on my last slide. Customers who have inconsistent experiences with products and services are understandably frustrated, but it's worse for organizations that cannot pinpoint the causes of these problems, because maybe we're too focused on processes, on compliance issues, or certain barriers that stop us from really going through with our customer experience strategies. So our interactions with our clients or customers become high effort, and customers have to switch channels, they have to repeat themselves, they have to follow up at a different time or be transferred from one department to another, and it's so frustrating. And a lot of times these clients don't even complain, they just switch to competition, and we get to lose out on a lot of business. So we need interactions that are low effort and give power to the customer to resolve issues in a single interaction. And companies should therefore just remove the obstacles and also be able to anticipate issues in advance. So these are the main elements that are brought up from the key metrics that I'm going to discuss on today. And the first one that I'm going to talk about is the Net Promoter Score. I think a lot of businesses use this to benchmark their services against competition. So Net Promoter Score, which is NPS, it measures customer loyalty and the likelihood of our customers referring an organization to others. And it's based on just a single question where we get to ask the clients to say, on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely are you going to recommend this company or product or service to a friend or colleague? So depending on how the customers respond, they will be categorized as promoters, as passives, or as detractors. So if you have more detractors, it means you have scored lowly. And if you have more promoters, it means this is a high score. But a lot of customers are just in the range of passives, meaning it's neither a low effort or a high effort, they're just in between. And when you have a lot of passives, then your NPS score is rather on the low side. And as a business, you score very low against competition. So it's always important to have experiences that then make our clients want to refer us to their businesses, to other colleagues, to their friends, to a family, so that we have more promoters for our products and services than passives or detractors. The next metric I'm going to touch on is the customer satisfaction score, which is known as CSAT. And CSAT really measures the overall satisfaction of customers with a specific interaction or experience. And it usually involves asking customers to rate their experience on a scale, maybe typically from 1 to 5 or 1 to 10, with 1 being highly dissatisfied and 10 being highly satisfied. So with CSAT, I don't know if you have used, I'll give an example of the My DSTV app. So with My DSTV app, as soon as you finished making a payment, you get a notification, please rate our service. That's an example of CSAT. And they've got five faces, from an angry face, which is in red, to a green face, which smiling green face. So in between, there are different colors, and all you have to do is to pick a picture of how would you rate your service? And then they just give you a small column as well to just add, if you're not satisfied, please tell us where you can improve. So that's an example of CSAT. It just measures how satisfied a customer has been with a specific service. The third metric I'm going to touch on is the customer effort score, which really measures the ease of the customer's experience with the company. Wow, so it asks the customers how much of an effort they've put in to resolve an issue or to make a purchase or to get their queries or complaints resolved. And lower CE scores indicate a better experience service. So as organizations, we should strive to make our customers have a lower customer effort score, because this is when we are supposed to streamline the processes. Longer processes are really frustrating. I think we've all had a chance to visit an organization where the process has just been frustrating, and before you even finish the end-to-end journey, you just like, I'm just gonna leave it here and I'll try somebody else. The fourth metric I'll touch on is the response rate, first response rate. For contact centers, I think they call it first call resolution, which measures the time taken by customer support team to respond to customer inquiries. And a shorter response time generally indicates better customer service. This metric is particularly relevant for companies that offer support through various channels, phone, email, chat, or social media. And I think more so for organizations with contact centers, this is one of the key metrics that we use to measure customer satisfaction as well. So it's one of the most common ones. The next metric I'll touch on is the customer lifetime value, CLV, which estimates the total revenue a company can expect from a customer over their entire relationship. And it reflects on general revenue an organization can get from a customer. A higher CLV will indicate that customers are satisfied and likely to continue doing business with the company, whilst a lower one means the customer is no longer willing to do business with the same company. And the last metric I'll touch on is the customer churn rate. Churn rate measures the percentage of customers who stop doing business with the company over a specific period. And the higher the rate, indicates that the customers are not satisfied or are not finding value in the company's offering. So in conclusion, I just want to highlight that there are a lot of other key metrics that I've left out, which organizations can still use to measure CX. And it's important to note that the choice of metrics may vary depending on the industry, as well as your business goals and specific objectives of why you're measuring your customer experience success. Companies should also make use of a combination of these metrics to get a holistic view of their customer experience. And as mentioned earlier, customer experience strategies are not a one-size-fits-all for all organizations, but you can use the basic step-to-step guide just to see what fits for you and what doesn't. And you can always leave out what doesn't, because in the end, you end up measuring what is not invaluable and what doesn't bring the correct insight for your organization. And then these are just some of the pictorials on what you will be measuring. The first one talks about customer CSAT, customer satisfaction. The second one is the NPS. And the third one is also just another, this one is on CES, customer effort score. So thank you. We'll hand you over to our moderator of the day. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you so much, Sharon. Quite some practical stuff to take away on what measuring CX looks like. One of my key takeaways was that we shouldn't be so much under pressure to try and have everything. And whilst the measurement of CX is holistic, we also need to focus a lot on measuring it at different stages as well as across channels, but also to make sure that we are devising a system that works for us as a business, for our goals, for our objectives. Ladies and gentlemen, our final speaker for the day will be Mr. Tich Gandanamu. Tich is an MAZ senior executive member. He's an experienced marketer and a customer experience advocate, and he's currently the customer experience head for the Zimbabwe affiliate of the EcoBank Group. Having been in the game for a while now, Tich, may you please share with us a practical case study of measuring customer experience?
Thank you, Doreen, for that introduction. I will try and share my screen, but I need, okay, great. Just 1 second there. Confirm you can see my screen by any chance?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yes.
Since you said I'm an old dog in the game, I might also mean that I'm old from a technology point of view.
I deliberately shied away from that one.
Let's see if I can quickly catch up with everyone here. Okay, are we going somewhere now?
It looks like it, yes. If you could just make it a slideshow, it would be good to go.
Yes. That I can do.
Wonderful. Thanks, Tish. Take it away.
Thanks so much. It's an absolute pleasure to have the chance to have a discourse with former marketers on key areas of interest. I know what you was not covered in the introduction, that I'm also still learning. The bulk of my time has been in core marketing, but over the past 4 years, I've transitioned to full-time customer experience, and I've had the privilege to transform an organization towards CX. I'm also a member of the CX University, which is an island-based organization where I am training to be a CX practitioner of global note. And I am also a participant on the annual World Games, where we use CX to come up with innovation and support organizations that are working with the less privileged. So that's a minor addition to my biography. I've been given the opportunity to share with you real life practical example of using CX matrices, using the case for my organization, which is EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. So you'll see what I'll share with you is part of it is confidential information. So I'm not going to share with you the full presentation, but I trust that you're going to go through it, because I know my sister is from competition. She might end up copying one or two things there, not just pulling your leg. All right. So from a background perspective, I'm coming from a situation where our organization as a bank made a deliberate effort and said our strategy going forward as a business is going to be CX-led. Okay, so all the years we've been focusing on other metrics, return on equity, profitability, bottom line, balance sheet growth. But after a realization that we are not punching above our weight as our peers in the region, in Africa, we made a strategic decision that we needed to focus our business on CX as our strategy driver. So I think that's a prerequisite for any organization seeking to achieve customer success. And in that line, we set up a CX vision, CX goals, and a path which we wanted to follow. Part of the things that we did in setting up our CX strategy was to come up with a set of values that will govern the behavior of our teams, and as well as a set of behavioral principles that we believed are necessary for us to achieve world-class banking status. In addition to it, we also set up a proper governance, CX governance structure with an executive position at C-suite level, CX councils and other cross-functional structures that we put in place to support our strategy. So you see from there that the CX itself, the metrics are only part of a CX strategy. But what you need to do is to have the CX strategy first, have your CX goals, have your CX vision, and then you put in place the strategy, and then you say the metrics, what are the metrics that we need to measure if we are in the right track. So if you ask me, the CX measures are coming almost at the bottom end of the flow of activity or path of action, to say, now that we've got this in place, how do we then measure if we are on track? And I'm happy my sister has taken us through all the various key matrices, customer satisfaction score, your effort score, NPS, which is really the one developed by the Bain company some years back, which most industries now use as the standard measure of customer experience. But I also want them to add that you also need to have an internal measure of internal customer satisfaction, which you can choose from a wide range. In our organization, we use what we call the employee CX, which is almost equivalent to the NPS, but focusing more on our internal stakeholders, on the understanding that happy staff members bring happy customers. So you can make a lot of effort driving customer experience as long as you're not dealing with the internal staff members, which are your internal employees. You are likely not to achieve your desired end. So this is just one or two of the additions that we have in our own appropriate model. So coming to our EcoBank story, we developed our own internal CX measure, which I'm going to share with you. That's why I said I will not be able to share this presentation, but it just gives you an understanding of what we're trying to achieve. So we established a CS score, whose sole purpose was to achieve a basis for us to award our organization, our staff, and our departments for customer experience. This will enable them for us to have a proper data-driven measurement, which can allow us to achieve comparison between business units, functional units, and touch points, and to be able to spread this across all the various business units. To do this, we used a four-phased approach, where we reviewed our existing customer experience measurement matrices and said, which measurement metrics are we using as an organization? What is working, what is not working? We then designed and documented a framework which we believe works for our own particular circumstances, taking into account current realities and existing systems. I know my sister who presented earlier on indicated that there's no one size fits all in this game. So you need to find something that is unique to your business, that is unique to your purpose and what you're trying to achieve. We then try to validate this with other stakeholders to see if we are aligned. Here we're trying to benchmark this against best practices. How does it compare to the NPS? How does it compare to the CST and other measurements that are available? And is it a true and effective measure of what we're trying to do? Once we've done this, we roll this up, we then embedded this into individual KPIs, right from the MD all the way up to the last man on the shop floor. I'll skip this one. It's just talking about the experiences that we had with respect to the existing measurements. We struggled with the manual process of measuring customer experience before, because this is referring to the period before the rollout of the new matrices that we use. It was not uniform, it was also not consistent, and the focus was only on the teller. I know if you go into a bank, the bulk of the people you see, they paying out cash are your tellers. So most of our matrices were focused on just measuring that, but we understood that customer experience is clearly reflect the sum total of the experience that our customers have when they interact with our platforms, including our digital platforms, our ATMs, and other service points, one-to-one discussions with our relationship managers or branch managers. So we realized that the existing measurements then before the transformation were not sufficiently capturing the customer experience that we desired to track. So those were the key challenges that we were experiencing. And to address this, we developed a CX framework that is currently in use, rolled out 4 years ago to be specific, which is now in practice. So the scope of this new measure was to try and measure the quality of the experience of our customers in our key segments, which are your retail, your SMEs, or your what we call commercial, and your corporate and banking investments. And you find that our framework has got 2 components. The first component measures the quality of the experience. Then the second component measures the advocacy score. The advocacy score is simply your NPS, if I am to say it. It measures the likelihood of any customer to recommend us to their friends, colleagues, and family. But we introduced another dimension which we believed was very important. Remember, when I started the conversation, I indicated that part of the thing that we did in setting up the CX strategy was to come up with our CX vision. We came up with our 6 goals, and we came up with our 6 principles and values. The values are the behavioral guidelines. The behavior, the principles are what are the behavioral principles that we need to follow to deliver exceptional customer experience. So we believe that in our model, it captures both elements of the NPS and our own model. And we believe that if our staff members live the principles, we call them the 7 principles, we develop the set of principles, which are 7 principles. If they follow these 7 principles, they should then be able to achieve the greater part of the customer experience that for us, them to deliver an experience that customers are able to recommend to their friends and colleagues. So you find that from the formula, which I by no measure I'm trying to confuse or scare anyone, it simply measures the weighting of the quality of the experience, which is the QE, and then add the advocacy. So the QE, in our view, represents the functional element of the experience, while the advocacy score represents the emotional element of the experience. And we believe if people deliver on the functional elements of delivering, meeting the expectations, and if you look at the principles, we're talking about people going the extra mile, we're talking about keeping customers informed, we're talking about many other 5 other items that we believe if our staff members do this, and the customers believe that our staff members are doing this, we're in a position to meet our key score. So the formula there is simply a weighting of the quality of the experience at 80% of the score, and then the advocacy being 20% of the score, because we are now capturing both the functional as well as the emotional elements of the experience. So I've already captured this to say that the advocacy score is a measure of how likely the customer is likely to recommend Ecobank to others based on their experience. It is based on the same question that we use for the Net Promoter Score, where we are moving on a scale of 0 up to 10. However, in place of that traditional NPS score, an advocacy score formula will be utilized for the following reasons. The advocacy score formula takes into account feedback received from individual customers, unlike the NPS, which only takes into consideration account feedback from promoters and detractors. Here we are saying in the calculation of the NPS, I think is indicated by my earlier, you subtract the detractors from the promoters to come up with your score. And then you then discount those that are sitting in between, because you are saying they are probably indifferent. So we believe that our model takes into consideration the weakness of that particular NPS score. And then what we simply do with this is to apply this to our various business units, where we do surveys through links, post-purchase surveys. We also have got QR codes deployed in our banking halls, service points. When you use our digital platforms, you are able to give the feedback immediately, and then we're able to collect this into the feedback that we share. This just to unpack the individual calculation, just for those that are mathematically savvy. You can pick there that we are picking the average score selected by each of the customers on the QE score, the quality of the experience. We then add all the number of customers, and we always try to maintain a minimum score, a minimum sample size of 100, so that these responses, a minimum sample of 30 customers, which is really the basic standard, to make sure that whatever feedback is coming through is representative of the customer, the population of the entire customers. Now, in terms of implementation, we believe that if we achieve a CX score of 85% and above, that's the maximum that one can get. And this is now cascaded down to the individual scorecards, where once we do these surveys on an ongoing, quarterly, monthly, weekly basis, we're able to transpose this one to the individual KPIs and then use this as part of our performance assessment. Okay, to me, I think just for your information, I'm just sharing here the sample of the branch questionnaire, where people will then have to select the branch where they've been saved, type of an account which they have with the bank, the purpose of their visit, and then those are the principles that I spoke around, the 7 principles that we mentioned. Our staff demonstrating that they're seeing things from the customer's point of view, are recognizing and tailor them, our ability to tailor. So customers will be rating us on the basis of these principles. This is why we believe that this should form the bulk part of our assessment, which is 80% of the score. So in a nutshell, I think this is what I ought to share with you. I will then be able to take any questions. If not, I will hand you back over to Doreen. Thanks, Doreen, for the opportunity. And back to you.
Thank you so much, Teach, for sharing of your experiences. And well done to Team EcoBank for that framework for customer experience. One of the things that I particularly found interesting was when you spoke about how you validated it with other stakeholders, that you, at all times, you remained cognizant of the fact that it's not just your view that's important, but what you believe to be the truth may not necessarily be the ultimate truth. And how it's been, your CX KPIs have been embedded throughout the organization. I was seeing at the end there when you were talking about implementation, that you even had a back office mapping where you showed how even the back office, the people who are not necessarily client interfacing, do have a role to play on the customer experience. Colleagues, at this moment in time, the floor is now open for questions and reactions to our 3 very informative presentations. Please feel free to put up your hand or to post your question in the chat. Okay, so we've got just a few minutes remaining to the end of our webinar, so we'll take about 3 questions. Okay, they seem a bit shy. Okay, so I'll go first. My question is directed to Teach. As you were unrolling this customer experience journey, did you face any internal resistance, and how did you overcome it, if ever you did face resistance?
You certainly, I think resistance is at various stages. Number 1, resistance was initially at the highest stage, or the highest level of the organization, to convince everyone that CX is the way to go if we are going to outcompete our competition. And the way to navigate this was to use a ratio of persuasion. So yes, where we compared ourselves with the same level or same size organization, see how they're performing, and then we then check other metrics which are non-financial related. And we realized that we're not doing so well on service. So it was then affecting so we're not doing so well on customer experience. It was now affecting our financial performance. And then the second level is the internal transformation at local level, where it's always difficult to execute a change process because people are always comfortable with what they've always been done. So you need to have a lot of persuasion, a lot of compromise, so that you are able to make people see things the way you do see, and for them to be able to buy into the vision and seeing the value that we intend to deliver on the table. And then obviously, when this role comes in, there's always others that, your laggards that are always saying, we don't see this going very far. So we would rather not support. So you still find those coming through. You have to find your way of navigating these challenges, because you are simply saying, when people are focused on profit, tomorrow focus on the customer. They don't understand why. So you now need to be able to convince them to say, this is the right way to go. We are in the right track, but it has to start with the executive buy-in. Once executive buy-in has been achieved, it's now easy. And the other way is then, while the buy-in is at executive level, the execution has to be bottom-up. So your buy-in is a top-down, but your execution is top-up. So it's bottom-up, where you involve everyone in the process and carry them through. Why are we doing this change? Why is it important to us? What is the value? And most importantly, people always want to know, what is the need for me when we do this? And one of the things that we did this was to launch a rewards and recognition program, where we reward staff and colleagues that demonstrated some of our values or some of the 7 6 principles. At the moment, we actually run a monthly program, and they've got an award target for the affiliate to say we should reward at least 10% of our staff who live our values, who live our principles.
Very, very, very valid and informative points there. I'm sure they are actually, they can cut across even outside customer experience, but across all our marketing disciplines as we try to drive change in our organizations. There's lots of insights that we can tap into. We're almost out of time, so I'll just ask each of our panelists in the order that you presented to just give, to take a minute or two to just give us some parting shots. What, if we've heard nothing today, this one word that you'd like us to hang on to as we champion customer experience in our different organizations? Madam Trish, if you could go first.
Thanks, Doreen. Just to wrap it up, I think I cannot overemphasize the need for organizations to be deliberate about making customer satisfaction one of their ultimate goals. And it's the implementation is through the development of a robust customer experience strategy. One that takes into consideration the voice of the customer. Yeah, so I think those are my parting shots. Thank you, Doreen.
Thank you, ma'am. Madam Sharon?
Thank you very much, Doreen. My parting shots would be to encourage all organizations to go the personalization route, because when clients feel like they're getting a personalized service, then definitely the customer experience becomes effortless, and definitely there'll be something good to talk about there. And also, I think the technology we're heading to, the era we're heading to is more technologically advanced. So we should not shy away from AI, and this would definitely help us touch on or be able to gather invaluable insights from a large volume of data. So those are my parting shots, to just embrace the technology, but also not doing away completely with the human touch. Thank you very much, Doreen.
Indeed, it's always necessary to have that healthy mix. Satish, what is your parting shot to colleagues?
Thank you, Doreen. For me, I think we as marketers, we need to understand one simple thing. Customer experience is where your brand promise meets the delivery. A lot of us have spent a lot of time driving the brand, driving the promise. But we have not paid adequate attention to the delivery of that promise. So I'll challenge you to make sure that as an organization, wherever you are, try and make sure that you reduce the gap. If anything, make sure that the delivery exceeds the promise. That would be my parting shot. Thank you.
Thank you. Make sure that the delivery matches the promise. I'm sure we have our work cut out for us there. At this moment, I'd just like to take a moment to thank our panelists for sharing of your time, of your experience, and certainly of your expertise. There is a lot of matter for us to mull over, and we look forward to engaging with you perhaps further as we also drive customer experience excellence within our different organizations. We've certainly learned a lot from you today. Thank you as well to the colleagues who joined in, although you were a bit quiet, but I think it's also kudos to the panelists because the presentations were so comprehensive and informative that you would really struggle as well to find anything to ask because they just laid everything bare. And thank you for having me. At this moment, I'd like to just hand over back to Felix. Felix, thank you for the opportunity and thank you to everyone from MAR.
Thank you so much, Madam Doreen. You actually drove this quite well. I want also to thank the panelists. Thank you so much for giving us quite informative information. Remember, guys, we also run a professional certificate in customer experience management. So come through and register. We're actually enrolling for the August intake. So it's your chance to also get insights into this program. Let me also remind you that we have a break going on today, this afternoon. It's actually on now. Please just come through at the Marketing Hub. Come and enjoy yourselves so that you take a break from this busy week. Meet you there, guys. Thank you so much, everyone. Great evening, great day, good weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let me come and just unless we can do it.
I think remember what's here always initial That's what I'm saying. Because my man say I'm in the